Good morning, gardening friends. I'm Lark, and I'm in Wisconsin, Zone 5. And I'd like to take you for a walk back in my woods, down by the creek. This area here is one of my favorite to sit in. So pretty. Winter also, I come down here to get some vitamin D and just sit and listen. Right now it's early, and the heat is rising off the creek. So pretty. Love the fall colors. The water in our creek is very clear. It's very shallow this year. We didn't have much rain. The seaweed that's in there, or whatever's growing on the bottom there, my granddaughters will pull out for me, and I go in there too, and we use it in the garden. Very clear. Near the edges it's mucky from the receding of the creek, and the water pulls in some of the muck, but right down the center and where the current isn't, I don't know if you can see how the creek is moving. It's shallow, but it's still moving quite rapidly. There's sandbars. And we get islands too when it starts getting so shallow. Down in the woods here, I harvest wild swamp rose hips. And in spring, in order for me to remember where they are, I flag them with some red strips of cloth. The birds have eaten most of them. I harvested some of them. They're very tiny berries, very tiny. I make an oil infusion from them, and I also just dried some for tea. We'll walk on the path. Back here we have, in late summer, jewelweed that blooms. It's an herb, and it's good for skin irritations, rashes, and the hummingbirds love it, and the butterflies. It's an orange flower. I think it's also called Touch Me Not. So the creek is over on that side over there where we were walking. Then it goes out to a finger-like, comes back around this way. Now, 20 years ago, we had quite a few big aspens go down because we had beaver moving through. And they took down the aspens that were closest to the creek. And when we moved in here, we had no idea about beaver. So now we wrap all our aspens. A lot of red twig dogwoods. This is a very boggy area. But because we haven't had much rain, we can walk it nicely. Cedars. Quite a few wildflowers in here, especially in spring, summer. So the aspens were trying to keep caged so the deer, the bucks, don't wrap their antlers around them totally. and we'd like more of them growing. So that pretty golden yellow is really vibrant right now. We also have a lot of tamaracks. If you're not familiar with a tamarack, it's deciduous. I think you call it a deciduous pine. All the needles fall off. Tiny little acorns on there. The wood ducks like them. That's another first up here. I never knew that a wood duck, what a wood duck was, or that it sat in trees. And they like the acorns in our oak trees too, as do the turkeys. We have a turkey family that walks through usually daily. There's 7 babies. Nope, we don't hunt, so they're just pretty. But you can see some of the aspens. It'll be pretty when they get big again. There's a few big ones that were left. Aspen, pretty white bark. So the creek is still going around on that side there. So with this back here, I have plenty of leaves for my lasagna method of gardening up in my raised beds. Lots of leaves. So it goes around this bend here, and we do canoe it. There's a mill pond up creek from here. This year we weren't able to get through because there was one part that was so shallow and full of cattails. Now in this area here, I'm very lucky that we have muskrat, and they seem to eat the root of the cattails. So it keeps it pretty well cleared here. There's a few across creek there. Maybe they save them so they come back next year. And I am going to try them. There's some over on the other end of the property that I can pull and try. I hear they taste like cucumber. So this is my view back here of the creek and the woods. We have some elm in here. One went down, died. And there's some babies coming, but I found morel mushrooms in here this spring. And I flagged the area in there with the orange electric flags. So I kind of look where they might be again next year. I hear if the spores drop, then you'll have more. We sit down here. I sat down here one day, laid on the bench. Okay, I'm only 5 foot. And the deer came through. And they came through right on the creek's edge. Mom and her 2 babies. Babies were big though. Probably about 9 months old. And Mom just is so used to me back here. She just grazed a little down by the creek. And of course I didn't move, but she looked at me. Babies were more leery. They jumped through. It was so wonderful. Very nice. These are my sculptures that I make. I'm sure you've seen them on other videos. I call them my flowers. They rotate, and the light shines through them. I use found objects. Each side is different. Now this area here, we can view from the house. More tamaracks. There is an old tamarack I'd like to show you. The morning light is so pretty coming through here, coming through the trees. So if I want to take my little nature hike and meditate, this is where I go. I like to sit down by the bench, down by the little sandy beach, especially in late season because the sun stays there the most. And then over by that sunflower bench, mostly in the summer. There are a lot of mushrooms coming up in this area back here. And I have, besides the morels, I don't know what they are. I should learn more about them, but even reading about it, you're so leery of eating wild mushrooms. I need somebody who really knows what they're doing, a mushroom person. Pretty. Some are bright red-orange. Some look like a big portobello. Okay, this is my old tamarack. How old, I don't know. But it's got to be pretty darn old. So gardening friends, just wanted to take you for a walk with me. Hope you enjoyed it. Little bit of heaven for me. Thanks for viewing. Take care. Bye-bye.